to the farm. Beautiful evening this evening. We're just sat now between two large meadows recently been cut for silage. We're going to be staking out tonight for a few hours at least, just try and get a handle on how many foxes are on the ground. Be ideal to see if we can get an idea of the numbers. They'll obviously have been breeding during the early spring, and the youngsters will be out and about soon. Ideally we need to work out how many are going to be on the ground here ahead of when our pheasants arrive mid-August. If it looks like there are going to be too many or more than we'd expect, then we'll have to take some measures to thin the numbers down. We've got the rifle with us this evening, and if an opportunity presents itself for the right animal, we might just take one of them out. So it's 6 o'clock now. It's been a lovely hot day. There's a chance we might get the northern lights again this evening, so that could be quite something to see. So we'll get set up in a minute, and then begins the quiet waiting game. Often on ground you'll see there'll be a relatively healthy, sustainable population of foxes, and those sort of levels, they really don't cause anyone any problems. It's when the numbers start to increase, largely due to lack of management, but occasionally you'll have a bumper breeding year, and the vixens will raise 3, 4, 5 cubs, and there's plenty of food to bring them on. And often when that happens, the populations will grow quite quickly and grow beyond the sustainability of the territories they're on, and that's when you'll see the individuals in that population begin to suffer with malnutrition, mange, other infestations, and parasite agents are a problem. So I think as part of everything, we want to maintain a number of foxes here. I don't think anyone in what we're doing wants to see them completely eradicated. They're a part of the countryside, and it's still, even though we're trying to manage and protect our young birds, it's still quite exciting to see one just break cover as the sun's going down. But if the numbers get too high, then as managers of the ground here, we need to take action, and we'll take a few out if and when we need to. So mainly what we'll be doing is sitting quietly here for an hour or two. Sun's going down about 2.5 to 3 hours. We may see some just as evening starts. It's been a very hot day. They're opportunists, so if everything's nice and still, we might see them out a bit earlier than usual. But we'll probably stay on till after dark. We've got the thermal spotter with us using a HikMicro Falcon F35, which I've found to be a pretty damn good piece of kit. It's I'd say mid-range, so it doesn't give all the whistles and bells, but for what we need here, it's a cracking piece of equipment. It'll allow us to identify species at quite a considerable range once you get used to it, and it'll give us a really good overall picture of how many foxes there are. We'll see as the deer come out as well, and it's quite handy to just keep an eye on badger numbers, a bit of intelligence for the farmer here. Being a dairy herd, there's always the potential risk of TB transfer, but occasionally we see some other interesting bits. The tawny owls and the barn owls, especially on these cut fields, the barn owls may well be out and about, and we've seen stoats and weasels on the cameras, and all sorts of other bits and pieces, so we'll see what we can find. So it's coming up to 8 o'clock now. The shadows are starting to get longer. We've probably got another hour and a half, hour and 3/4 till sundown. We haven't seen Mr. Fox yet, but it's been lovely sitting here listening to all the songbirds going back into roost, the blackbirds, chaffinches. We've got some linnets and goldfinches. The swallows are still diving up and down the field. Seen some song thrushes and 1 or 2 skylarks. I heard some geese over across the valley there. It's just a lovely part of the day. But it's now, as the light starts to go, that we need to really keep our wits about us. Always find when you're out looking for foxes that there's absolutely nothing around, nothing. And then, like smoke, one appears right in front of you. So as it stays light, we've got to stay still, stay quiet. They're not called wily old foxes for nothing. We're quite lucky here today to have chosen this little spot as well, because the wind's blowing up across the valley to us, so it's coming from that direction, blowing that way, so it'll carry any stink and scent out back behind us. And luckily at the moment, as long as that wind direction doesn't change, it's not blowing it up across that field either. I've seen a handful of what are probably resident cock pheasants sputtering around. They've been up and down the field here. Sounds like there's 1 or 2 back in the farm parlour we've seen. We've got a couple have gone down into the wood where historically there used to be another pen. And there are a few more just calling as they're going into roost down the bottom. So we're going to hunker down and give it a few more hours, see what we can see. So we've got the rifle set up. It's a Blaser R93 straight pull rifle in 243. We're using Hornaday VMAX 58 grain, very quick, very flat round, and we've got the HikMicro Alpex infrared on top. We use that in daylight mode until the light starts to go. It'll give us good vision a long way into dusk, a lot longer than our eyes would give us, and after that we can switch over with the infrared lamps, and that'll take us as long into the night as we need to. So with that set, I think we'll start paying attention on this meadow, but like we said, we've got a gap through there, so as the light goes a little bit, we'll probably move into the gap so we can try and cover both sides. But right now, any fox coming out, unless we're lucky, will spot us a long way off, unless we've got a little bit of cover from the hedge behind breaking up our silhouette. So now we wait. So it's just gone 9 o'clock. We haven't had any signs of Charlie Fox yet, but the light's starting to go now with that wonderful crepuscular light. You can still make things out, but as this light starts to go, it starts fooling your eyes, and if you're not careful, every little bit of grass or branch starts looking like a fox. We've seen 4 or 5 roe deer coming out of the woods in the last hour, making their way out to feed, and we'll probably see them tracking across a little later on as well. We've heard a few, I think, foxes whistling behind us back up towards the farm, but we haven't spotted one yet. And I think we're going to try the fox caller. Got some little mouth calls, but I think we'll try the HikMicro fox caller for a little bit. I'm going to try fox cub as a call, and I think I might also try, there's a distressed chicken call on it. Now a chap about half a mile up the farm lane there earns a bit of money keeping chickens and selling the eggs locally, and over the years he tells me he's been plagued by the foxes coming in and absolutely destroying his flock. He keeps a couple of hundred up there, and unfortunately if a fox gets in, they'll go through pretty much all of them in a night and just leave them dead on the ground, which I'm sure you understand is quite distressing. So we might give that distressed chicken call a try. I'll be swapping over to the thermal soon, so I'm going to try and take some video through it, and then we can talk through anything we see on there later on. But for now I'm going to go back on the binoculars and see if the foxes are going to start doing their rounds as the light goes. So we're on the thermal now. First sweep down the field. Big meadow in front of us. There's a couple of little spots there. There'll be rabbits. Nothing down to the corner. Looking back up to the top of the field again, there we are. What's that? Now that looks like a fox. You can tell by the way it's moving. That one's probably 400 yards away. Just making its way through the grass there, but yeah, I'd say 100%. That's our first fox. Quick check back up, back towards the farm. Nothing there, coming back to him now. We're going to have a quick look at the meadow behind us, and straight away, right up on top of the ridge, there's another fox. Looks like they've all come out just as the light's gone. He's probably 250, maybe 300 yards away up to the top of that ridge. Looks like he's come out of that woodland there. Something we might have to deal with, because that's where we want to start holding some birds later in the season. So you can hear the cub call going out. He doesn't seem to be taking any notice of that. I'm going to try the little mouth fox whistle, just see if we can bring him down for a little bit of a closer, cleaner shot. I think we need to take this one out. So here we are, we've got him to about 160, 170 yards. He's come right in on that call. Big big dog fox. So he took the shot there. With the thermal I can see he's run 15-20 yards back up to that big water butt there, so I'll reload, and yeah, we can see him there on the ground. He's not moving, but I just want to put a second one in just to make sure he's cleanly down. And that's the job done. So, it's 10:15. We've seen 3 or 4 foxes now. A couple up on the high ground over there, on the far woods. And we've seen the fox come down out of this spinney. Quite an old dog fox. He came in about 150 yards. So we took the shot on that one and took him down. We've seen 2 badgers come from the back of the parlour by the farm and scurry down into the main wood. So I think we'll hang on a little bit longer, see what else might be out here. Scanning around behind me with the thermal, there's another fox come in. I think this one's a Baron Vixen. Yeah, she's come out of that top wood as well. I can't believe she's come right down onto us. Okay, we're gonna take this one as well. This one's probably within 100 yards. So we get the infrared on. Yeah. Good shot, she's down. I think we've seen 4 or 5 straight away this evening. Taken 2 we wanted. I think that's a good point to call it a night. Thanks very much for being with us. And please like and subscribe.